There we go. All
There.
right. Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us for another edition of our weekly real estate backstory. My name is Alan Richardson. I'm the managing broker here at Maximum Realty and Realtor Partners.
My name is Ming Richardson. I'm the compliance broker for Maximum One Realty and Realtor Partners. Welcome to Monday.
Well, yeah, and a glorious wet Monday it is. So bringing our
So
folks in
hopefully you
here.
guys have enjoyed Super Bowl last night and had some opportunity to spend with some time with family and friends.
Yeah.
It's Monday.
It is Monday. All right. Well, we want to jump right into everything we got going on today. And I want to start off with a new study that came out, and it talks about affordable housing. And so there is a new study, and it's actually, our daughter attends Georgia Tech, so this one was definitely close to my heart, right? And so at Georgia Tech, they did a study, and what they did was they evaluated property values before and after the addition of affordable housing developments. And guess what they found out? They found out that all the nearby areas grew faster than the other regions in the area, kind of thing. So it's one of those things where a lot of times like that whole NIMBY thing, not in my backyard. Well, realistically, like, yeah, you do want it in your backyard because it really does help overall property values across the board. So, I just thought it was a very interesting thing in there because most time folks are like, I don't want apartments, I don't want this, I don't want that kind of thing. But the study actually shows that in areas where that happens,
It
overall property
actually,
values grow faster than in other areas, kind of thing. All right, moving on. Now, we've seen lower homeowner ownership rates in the Northeast and the West. How now the one that's bucking the trend, is here in the South, and so I'm very pleased to kind of see us kind of bucking that trend. That's a good thing for us overall. But that being said, there are a lot of barriers to home ownership, and so there was a recent study, and it talked about Asian buyers, African American buyers, Hispanic buyers, and like one thing that kind of came across on for all three demographics is that all three are waiting for prices to drop. So the number one reason for Asian buyers, for African American buyers, and for Hispanic buyers is they're waiting for prices to drop.
and a mortgage rate.
And mortgage rates, but the biggest is waiting for prices to drop. And the reason that we want to highlight that is they're not going to. And so we have to be very honest about that. We're seeing where property values are continuing to appreciate, and now they're appreciating at a much more modest rate than in the past, but there is no housing crash coming. And so, a lot of times these are the folks that we want to get into a house. And if these folks think, well, we're just going to wait for the market to crash, we're going to wait for prices to drop, then you're going to be waiting for a very, very long time. And you're going to miss out on the advantages and the benefits of homeownership and the property value increases and those kind of things. So it's crucial that we explain and talk to our clients about this.
And a lot of economists out there are preaching that the value is not going to drop just because our demand is still high.
Yeah. Now, we also had another study that said sellers, primarily for sale by owners, as well as iBuyers, iBuy sellers out there, their biggest regret is not using a real estate agent. And so, like, it's one of those things where a lot of times people will bash us quickly, but then they turn around, but boy, that pretty much was a real negative. Now, for sale by owners, part of the reason is that like they asked them, well, why? What are your big regrets? And they said that buyers distrusted them because they didn't have an agent, so they didn't seem trustworthy, which I think is legit. They also very much struggled to understand their contract and what contract was being presented. They had no advice on that kind of stuff, and that they made legal mistakes because they didn't use an agent, right? They don't know what the process and the steps are in there, kind of thing.
I mean, you can do all these online and do your own research, but at the end of the day, it's better to have someone that you can trust and ask opinion of that is in the industry that know what they're doing.
Yeah, we found that for sale by owners said that their biggest regrets were it took them longer to sell, or low, it took them longer to sell. They had a lower sale price as well as just a lot more stress.
Well, they don't understand. A lot of investors will come in and play this game, the cat and
Yeah.
mouse, and basically dusts are high, and by the time it's said and done, it's pretty low.
Now, for sell by owners, it's still some of the lowest rates it's ever been. It was its lowest rate last year that matched the lowest rate that we've ever had for sell by owners. So there'll always be some, but it's a really minuscule part of our market. All right, now the housing affordability index actually improved. It has been improving mainly because of mortgage rates. Matter of fact, what we've seen very recently, like this month, is that the median family income finally went higher than the qualifying income. And what that means is overall, if you just take what's the average qualifying income that you need to be able to afford for a home, and then you compare that to what's the median family income, we're finally back into the red as far as that goes, kind of thing. So it's really good sign that we see that.
Back into blue.
Back into the blue, yeah, whichever one. But overall, consumers are, the new consumer study is out, and consumers are a lot more optimistic that mortgage rates are going to go down, and that's a really, really good thing for us. Now, the reality of it is, they didn't really go down much last week, kind of thing. Actually, they stayed flat. I mean, flat is flat as a pancake, kind of thing. Now, the good part is that mortgage applications did increase, and so refis were up 12%. Now, mortgage applications were only up 1%, but we're still seeing where we have more activity coming into our market in there. Now, one thing that is coming out that we're seeing a lot more of, and a lot more people asking about, are the down payment options. So, like you have some no down payment options out there. So you can go VA or USDA. Both of those are no down payment. Now, your lower down payment options, that's going to be FHA or Home Ready or Home Possible through Fannie and Freddie. And then you have a lot of DPA programs that are on the national level. Chenoa Fund,
Georgia Dream.
Yeah, cross country mortgage has a Smart Start and a Community Promise one. Freddie Mac has multiple programs in there. Then on the state level, we have Georgia Dream, both the standard and the PEN program. Inside Atlanta, we have the IMAP, which is up to $20,000. That's a grant. Clayton County has one, Cobb County has one, Gwinnett has one. All these are really good options for us to be looking at. Now, the trick here is you have, are they grants or do you have to pay them back? Like Georgia Dream, you have to pay back.
So be careful when you get these DPA programs. Some are forgivable and while other are not. So when you skim and sell your house, you may have to pay these down payment assistance back.
Now, understand, not everybody qualifies for down payment assistance,
Correct.
right? So, like the whole idea that some folks will think well, with DPA are strings attached? Yes, strings are attached. So and there's so many variables, right? How much is that DPA amount? How much is the down payment amount? Is it a grant or is it a repayment? All of them will have some sort of income limits. Some will have geographic limits on where you have to live. Some you'll need to be a first-time buyer. Others you won't. Some you'll have to take some sort of home buyer education.
But just remember, these CPA programs are to assist people to find their first-time home easier. So they're not there to help those that are established and wanting to put down less money.
Some will limit how much money that you can buy. Most of them will have an occupancy restriction where you have to live in the property. Some will limit the types of property that you can buy. Some won't qualify for modular homes, that kind of thing. So they're all going to have some minimal credit score. And by the way, people with crappy credit are not going to get a DPA program.
So it is important to consult your client to make sure they're working toward a goal of better credit.
Yeah, it's not just a matter of hey, that program out there where people with crappy credit can buy a home? No, it's not there. It's not going to happen, right?
And even if you have great credit, but if let's say you make only $26,000, there's absolutely no way by the time, if you look at it, that you can afford a house at that current pay rate.
Yeah, you're going to move up. So overall, new construction continues to be a big deal. Now, 9 out of 10 new construction buyers would use their agent again. And what we're seeing, though, is that right now on owner-occupied homes, 92% of consumers are using an agent. However, on new construction homes, only 61% are
Mhm.
actually using an agent. They're going in unrepresented. And I don't hate our builders. I have nothing against our builders, but the builders agents work for the builders. And
Right.
so when you let your clients, your potential clients go in, they're going in unprotected. And you can see that the buyers who use realtors on their new construction purchase really are very happy with the whole process. They would use them again, and they know how much that's a big deal. Please make sure that you talk about new construction with your clients and how much they need your representation during that entire process. So overall, new listings for homes up 7%. We're still seeing new listings increasing. We're really glad to see that. Overall, we haven't reached that point to where total listings are up, but we're trending that way every week. We kind of see it again, a little bit
Yep.
higher, a little bit higher. Overall, you can see that currently 5.5% year over year. I mean, month over month over last year, we're running about 2.8% annual property value increase, which is more modest than we've seen, but that's a national level. What we're really seeing, though, is here in Georgia, it's closer to 7%. And you can see that, right now, Georgia has about a 7% annual property value increase, which is, and overall, 85% of the regions in the United States saw property value increases in the last quarter. So like when
So for
going
those,
back to that whole thing about
the
waiting for prices
clients,
to drop.
yeah, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we're not seeing prices drop at all. So overall, now this is something that's coming out very interesting because we want to talk about
relocation.
relocation here. And so right now, a third of real estate agents have clients that are relocating because of state or local or federal politics. And like agents have to realize this. Realtors need to understand that we don't need to be political. We don't need to
No.
do anything out there dealing with politics because there's a really good chance that you're going to upset half of the folks that you potentially could be working with. So, be conscious of that about what you're putting out there politically. It really does
Please
matter.
just don't do it. Just don't do
Yeah.
it.
Now, when it comes to actual migration, total net migration, Georgia comes in at number 5 in the United States over total net migration over the last year. And so that's a really good place, meaning total net migration, Georgia was about 88,000 on there. Now, we also come
International.
in international migration. Now, we're not as high, but we picked up another 30,000 people internationally that joined us here in our
And
glorious Peach
domestic,
State. Domestic, we came in another 30, and so that so
58,000.
it breaks in between domestic and international. It comes in really strong. But what I want you to see is that we come in with a net population change of around 116,000 people because in addition to people moving here, we're also making babies and doing things like that, right? And so we increased by 116,000 people during that time frame. But guess what? We only built 64,000 homes during that time, basically double.
So you look at supply and demand. This is why we're
Yep.
encouraging a client not to wait, because I'm telling you right now, by the time the interest rate drop, they're kind of like pre-pandemic. Everybody's competing for the same house.
Yep. New study also went out and shows us what the average closing cost is by state. And so Georgia, our average closing cost is around $3,200 is about normal. Some states it's a lot higher than that, in overall. But here in the South, it's pretty
Look at
moderate.
New York and California pricing.
Yeah. A little
Wow,
bit different.
it's a lot.
Yeah. Now, overall, when it comes to rental applications, there's been for the agents that work with investors, 93% of them have experienced fraud in the last month, especially
Absolutely.
as it applies to rental applications. 80% have seen applications that misrepresent information on applications, where they lie. There's some form of identity theft on there. 70% saw
Yep.
fraudulent activity. So for your investors, please have them have a third party independently verify and check the tenant applications. right? You have to do that right now. That's what we see kind of going on. It's kind of running rampant through our entire industry right now. And I know I'm not trying to knock anybody from getting a home, but like
just do your due diligence.
protect your investors that own rental properties. Again, we have our swag for Maximum Market out there. Now, this week we have, this is week 2 of our post license class. That's going to be in our noon office all week. And then we also have Ultimate Buyer System that's virtual today. We have our monthly sales meeting tomorrow. That's going to be live in all the partners' offices.
And honestly, we don't care if you're a Max One agent or not. Come in and get some information.
Yep. Wednesday is Ultimate Listing System. That one's going to be virtual. Thursday is building a CMA using Connect MLS, and please
go check this out, because
look, Paragon's getting parked. They're
getting kicked out.
They're firing Paragon, so you gotta learn how to do Connect MLS, and you want to be able to do it and get your CMA. That's going to be in at the airport office. And then Friday is here, back here. It's going to be virtual. Take me to close and show me the money. Hour and a half with the lender, closing attorney, going over all those kind of things. So hope that you guys have a great week. If we can be of any kind of service, anything like that, please call, text, smoke signals. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a great Monday.